My topic is evaluation of functional outcome and neurological recovery pattern in patients with paraparesis secondary to a retro-thecal epidural abscess managed at a tertiary apex center. Our study is a retrospective observational study. We included the patients managed by us between 2014 and 2020. The inclusion criteria in our study was retro-thecal epidural abscess causing cord compression without spinal instability. The exclusion criteria in our study was anterior disease causing cord compression. We calculated the maximal spinal cord compression ratio on sagittal T2 MRI sequences. It is the ratio of the mid-sagittal diameter of the spinal cord at the compression site divided by the average diameter of the spinal cord at the non-compressed regions above and below. We used the lower extremity motor score as an objective way to quantify the neurodeficit. We performed a laminectomy with or without instrumentation in patients with progressive worsening of neurology, involvement of sphincters, inadequate response to chemotherapy, and those with a static significant deficit. This is a 13-year-old female. She had a D1 epidural abscess. The MSCC was 0.53 and the LEMS was 0. We managed this patient with laminectomy followed by fixation at C7, D2, D3 using pedicle screws. The LEMS improved to 40 at 1 year follow-up and she did not have any spasticity. This is a comparison between the preoperative and the postoperative MRI of the same patient. This is a 14-year-old male who had a D3 to D6 epidural abscess. The MSCC was 0.66, the LEMS was 42. The patient was managed with a CT-guided biopsy followed by AKT. The LEMS improved to 46 at 1 year follow-up and he did not have any spasticity. This is the only case in our study which showed a worsening of the neurology. She was a 15-year-old female. Though she had an anterior subligamentous collection from D2 to L1, it was the posterior D7 to D9 epidural abscess which was causing the cord compression. She had a MSCC of 0.42. The LEMS was 40. The patient was managed with a CT-guided biopsy followed by AKT. Drug resistance was detected in the samples, following which second-line AKT was started. However, the patient defaulted after 3 months of chemotherapy. The LEMS was 20 at the latest follow-up and she had a grade 3 spasticity as per the modified Ashworth scale. We had 3 males and 7 females in our study. The mean age of our patient was 22.3. The mean MSCC was 0.5. We performed decompression in 8 patients, out of which 2 required additional instrumentation. The mean LEMS score on admission was 20.2, which improved to 38.5 at the end of 1 year. The postoperative spasticity was seen in those patients in whom the time interval between the onset of neurological deficit and initiation of management was more than 6 weeks. The LEMS score showed a significant improvement after 3 months of treatment when the time interval between the onset of neurological deficit and initiation of management was less than 6 weeks. To our surprise, the MSCC ratio did not have a significant relationship with the postoperative LEMS scores. One patient in our study showed a worsening of neurology on follow-up as discussed previously. One case had an intraoperative dural tear due to extensive adhesions. The limitations of our study were the limited sample size and the retrospective study design. However, these cases are rare in occurrence. Spinal epidural abscess secondary to tuberculosis has a relatively good prognosis if treated adequately and in a timely manner. AKT remains the mainstay of management. Surgery is reserved for those with neurological deficit. As per a study by Rathod et al., preoperative neurological status was found to be the most significant determinant of postoperative neurological outcome in cases of tuberculosis of the spine. He also found a significant association between the preoperative LEMS score and the satisfactory recovery. In our present study, the time interval between the onset of neurological deficit and initiation of management was the single most important predictor of postoperative neurological outcome and spasticity. The MSCC ratio did not have a significant relationship with the LEMS. The most probable reason for this would be the gradual compression occurring in our patients and the adaptation of the cord to the slowly developing compression. To conclude, when managing spinal epidural abscess, clinical evaluation and regular follow-up is of significant importance. Conservative management should be offered initially to the cases with intact neurology. Management decisions should not be based solely on radiological findings, and management should be initiated as early as possible in order to achieve a good functional outcome. Thank you.